This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
Today on CityCast Houston, one of Harris County's most anticipated assistance programs can't get off the ground because of politics. Plus, is there tension brewing between the state-appointed HISD Board of Managers and Superintendent Mike Miles? And I always knew George Strait was popular, but this popular? You won't believe how many people showed up to watch him in concert. Producer Carlignon Jones joins me to talk about the stories you should know this week. It's Tuesday, June 18. I'm Raheel Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Hey, Carly, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you this morning?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited. We have the rare midweek break, right? So we'll be off Wednesday for Juneteenth, federal holiday. We have a lot of ways to celebrate, but how are you going to enjoy that day off?
Yeah, it's such a weird day off because it's like literally the middle of the week on a Wednesday. So what me and my friends decided to do was to get the day started early by going out to the lake at like 9 in the morning. We'll spend like a couple hours out there together as a group. And then we're thinking about coming back and going to this Juneteenth celebration. It's kind of like a kickback that they're having at the newly opened Houston Freedmen's Town Conservatory. That starts at like 4 to 8 p.m. and they're going to have food and art and performances out there. So we're trying to get the day in before like nighttime falls so that we can come back home and go to sleep for work the next day.
Carly, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and we're going to talk about this upcoming weather that we're facing for the next few days, but there's going to be a lot of rain in the forecast from starting today until about Thursday. So I hope y'all get to go out on the lake. I really do. But, just have a backup ready.
I hope so, too, because we already paid for it. But I mean, if we're out on the lake, we're going to get wet anyway. So maybe we'll just go with the flow. Maybe it won't be any thunder or anything like that.
That might be the way to do it. I'm just going to relax, catch up on some rest and some sleep, and then hopefully get a chance to go out and enjoy one of the many events. And by the way, if you do want to celebrate Juneteenth in Houston and Galveston, Brooke Lewis, who is our editor for Hey Houston, wrote a really good primer for you that I've linked in our show notes. All right, Carly, let's get to our biggest news to start the week. What do you got for me?
HPD is under fire once again, but this time it's for a case of mistaken identity. So there was this man, 38-year-old Jabon Barrett, who was a former military veteran. He has no criminal record and has a license to carry, right? Well, he was thrown in jail last November when HPD spotted a gun in his car at the gas station. Well, apparently the police officers mistook him for a man who goes by the alias of James Barrett, who had a decade-old felony conviction. Now, even though the first names were different, they still arrested him under the other man's name in the court records and charged him with the unlawful carrying of a weapon. Well, Barrett stayed in jail for nearly 2 months after this. Like, can you imagine that? 2 months in jail for something that you didn't even do wrong. And he said that he was allegedly being ignored by every region of law enforcement possible while he was there, even his own defense attorney. The case takes a wilder turn whenever we find out that he says that his defense attorney got paid $835, even though he never met the defense attorney. Like, this is all crazy to me. It's so crazy. I couldn't imagine being thrown in jail under the wrong name when I know that I didn't do anything wrong, and then nobody getting me out immediately, because I would think, okay, mistaken identity, I'll be out in a few hours. Nope, 2 months.
Yeah, Carly, this is so scary, right? Like, you get thrown into jail, you are telling people that, hey, this is not me. They had multiple checkpoints in terms of people who could identify this man with fingerprints, with tattoos, with some kind of markers. But, eventually Jabon did get out because his mom was fighting tooth and nail to get in touch with somebody to
Mm-hmm.
say, this is not my son. This is a case of mistaken identity. Imagine if his mom wasn't able to fight like this, right? And find pictures of the other man that they thought he was, or fight
Mm-hmm.
tooth and nail again to go to people and say, hey, you have the wrong person here. He's in jail for 6 weeks. There's so many things wrong with this story. Obviously, HPD's wrongdoing here. But then you talked about the attorney that was appointed for this case. This man earned $795,000 last
Mm-hmm.
year for his work on 434 felonies and 5 capital murders, more than 3 times the recommended caseload for a single attorney, according to state data. So, like, what is happening? He couldn't even get in touch with his attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I want to point out is in this investigation, which the Houston Chronicle did such a great job, we've linked it in our show notes. We're getting the information from that. Basically, to sum this up, if you don't have money, you're screwed. That's it. Like, that's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. It's actually just so crazy to me because can you imagine how many people might be behind bars wrongfully for things like this? You know, we already had a huge caseload of where were so many people overcrowding the jails. But now I'm wondering how many people are overcrowding the jails that aren't even supposed to be there at all.
It's absolutely scary. And I hope there is accountability here, because that has been a huge thing with HPD. And I hope there's accountability with the DA's office. I hope there's accountability with that attorney. I hope there's accountability wherever it needs to be, because this is heartbreaking. And you're right. Let's think about the other people who might not have the resources. Their parents might not be able to fight for them, right? This
Mm-hmm.
man got lucky that his mom had this will to fight and make sure that her son got out, because it's just heartbreaking to even think about. But I'm glad the Houston Chronicle did this investigation and bring some light to this story, and hopefully others in the future.
Yeah, and I want to commend the Houston Chronicle too, because that was one thing that they went in and talked about was that there wasn't very much accountability taken by these different offices in HPD. There was a lot of people that were not responding to this article, that were not trying to comment on it at all. So I don't know if there's actually been a lot of accountability taking place so far. Because to me, you know, normally when people go to jail, shouldn't they get like a payout for it? I know like when they do years in jail that happens, but I don't know if anything happened besides him being released, you know? Like
Yeah.
he just kind of got out.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to sue. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
look, you were in jail for 6 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and again, you weren't supposed to be there. So, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lawsuit coming. We'll find out. Okay, Carly, I'm going to get to my biggest story. And we have an update regarding Uplift Harris, which is the guaranteed income program that would provide $500 to about 1,900 families over 18 months using money left over from the American Rescue Plan Act. Well, the Texas Supreme Court has halted those payments to families after granting the state's request prohibit payments pending the outcome of the state's lawsuit against Harris County challenging the program. The Texas Attorney General's office, responding to a request from State Senator Paul Betancourt, who is a Republican out of Houston, argued that the Uplift Harris program violates the state constitution's ban on gratuitous payments to individuals. Now, this comes from News 88.7's Andrew Schneider. Now, in that story, Harris County Attorney Christian Menefee was quoted saying that this ruling sets a dangerous precedent. Most state constitutions have bans on gifting public funds, but no other state court has barred guaranteed programs on those grounds. And of course, they haven't, because those bans are there to stop cronyism and gratuitous gifts of tax dollars. They aren't intended to stop governments from providing public benefits. Now, this is so frustrating to hear, Carly, because this could benefit so many families and be applied on a larger scale. But because of politics, it's not being implemented, even though similar programs have been launched in other cities, most notable Austin, where 135 residents were given $1,000 each for a year. And according to the research from that program, most of those funds, by the way, were spent on housing and food costs. And in fact, I was reading that Austin actually extended this program just recently.
Mm.
So it looks like for some reason, everyone is targeting Harris County, and politics is ruining a program that could potentially benefit so many.
I hate this so much. I hate this because I was so excited for this program and to see how it was going to actually like help uplift, no pun intended, the families that are in Houston that actually need the help, right? I was like, okay, that extra money could really benefit people where maybe they need help with getting a babysitter, a car, or, just different things that it really could have helped push forward and help uplift the community. So like the fact that they're doing this and taking it away is kind of like, why? It's like, do we not want our own citizens to be able to get on their feet and be productive and get, to a good point in their lives? Like, I thought that we wanted society to flourish. So seeing this is kind of like a backtrack to me.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I mean, it's again, other cities in Texas have done this, San Antonio, El Paso, Austin. So this is just targeting Harris County for no reason other than politics. And it's
Hmm.
disgusting, frankly. And I hate this so much because I wanted to see how this program would impact Houston specifically, right? And we'll see what happens next because this is the initial ruling. There's still going to be some back and forth. There's a lawsuit still pending. So there's a lot still to be had here in terms of this story.
Yeah, I hope that a change comes. I hope that it's overturned.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
Sign up to The Economist for in-depth curated expert analysis of world events and topics ranging from business and culture to science and technology. You'll get the weekly digital edition, online-only articles, curated newsletters on politics, the markets, science, culture, and China, and full access to The Economist Podcast Plus. The Economist is independent journalism for independent thinking. Go to economist.com and get your first month free.
Carly, it is time for some rapid fire. And frankly, we should just have a segment on every episode, I think, that is just HISD focused because
Yeah.
the first story is about HISD. Well, HISD state appointed board has approved Superintendent Mike Miles' budget for next year. And there's a lot of information in there. So let me just give you 3 big storylines. First, the budget barely passed by a vote of 5-4 by the board that has worked pretty much hand in hand with Mike Miles since, again, they were both appointed by the state. One of the board members, Michelle Cruz Arnold, said she was surprised by the 5-4 results. She said she voted no because Miles did not present the board with enough evidence justifying his plans or possible ways to adjust his spending proposal. She said, quote, I asked some questions of the administration in advance of the first budget workshop and then in advance of the second one that went unanswered. She said, I'm a processor, and without the information, I just had to vote no. That is huge right there. Like, this board was picked by the state, and they've been working together. And one of the board members saying, like, hey, I can't get an answer here. What is going on?
I mean, it's good because it's like checks and balances going on. At least they're not just kind of going with whatever he has to say. I like that part of it.
Yeah, for sure. And look, it still passed, right? It still went 5-4, but there's a little bit of tension here. The second point, the new education system plan will now expand to 130 schools, which is up from 85 initially. And HISD will be spending $9,400 per student at NES schools versus $6,900 at non-NES schools. Okay, and finally, Carly, the biggest cuts will be made in the central office, where the operations office, made up of custodial staff, bus drivers, and other non-teaching staff, will lose about $101 million in funding, which is about a 45% cut from last year's budget. The HR office will lose about $97 million, and the academics office, which includes staff that helps develop curriculum, will lose about $69 million. So those are going to be some of the big cuts right there. The budget has been approved, but now we'll get to see like exactly who is going to lose their jobs in the upcoming months.
Yeah, those are some real big numbers right there and a lot to digest. But hopefully we actually see some changes in HISD. It's great that they're putting more money into each student, but at the same time, so many people are losing their jobs, and you don't want to see that. You don't want people to get removed from the system and people that are like actually there to actually help these students grow and become better people.
Mm-hmm.
So all we have to do is just kind of see how it plays out within the next year. We'll probably get those answers that we need. But right now, it's kind of just like a mess, as we know.
It
It's a
totally is a
mess.
mess. And by the way, the full budget is at $2.1 billion.
Ooh, oh my God. That's crazy.
Okay, Carly, I mentioned we would be talking about this weather, and rain is coming again starting today. We have a lot of rain in our forecast to the point where the city of Houston requested that the San Jacinto River Authority divert water from Lake Conroe to delivery to Lake Houston by the West Fork of the river. The River Authority began releasing water at a rate of 660 cubic feet per second over the weekend. There's a 70% chance of a tropical depression forming in the Gulf of Mexico this week, according to the National Weather Service, which predicts 5 to 8 inches of potential rain drenching the city and surrounding areas. So just when you thought we escaped some of that May rain, it is time for summer showers.
This is crazy. I feel like one thing that I can pull from all of this is that whenever they told us about global warming, it's real, y'all. Like, we're seeing it at this point that this is real. The weather has been insane back to back weeks. And it just seems like there's no like sign of it getting any better anytime soon. But I just hope it doesn't ruin the week.
Well, it's going to ruin the week, Carly, because rain is coming. And yeah, I keep going back to our conversation with Matt Lanza when we were previewing the upcoming hurricane season. We're actually in the hurricane season, and this isn't a hurricane by any means, but he was just talking about, look, the Gulf of Mexico is warm, and it's gotten a lot warmer, and that will just produce crazy things, whether it be hurricanes, systems like this, where there's going to be a lot of rain. So yeah, I keep thinking about that, and I'm like, man, that's not good at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, speaking of that rain, just when you thought we were out of mosquito season, well, we're still in the thick of it, and it looks like it's going to be extended a little bit because of this rain and the standing floodwater, which we could see in the next couple of days. So county officials are asking residents to clear out things like empty pot plants, trash cans, or anything that just retains water because it's going to be raining a lot. And you know what happens after rain? Mosquitoes are going to be out laying eggs in that standing water. So please be smart and let's work together to limit some of this mosquito infestation.
Yeah, let's do it for sure because especially since like West Nile is supposed to be out there this season, we need to make sure we're actually going and clearing those pots and trash cans because nobody wants any of those problems. We don't need it. We have enough problems.
Yep, nothing like enjoying a midweek break with a lot of rain and the potential of mosquitoes. I hate to be a downer, right? But that's what it is.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Carly, you know what we do here on Tuesday, only in H-Town. Stories that are so unique to us, fun, wacky, celebrations, triumphs, whatever it may be, only in H-Town can this happen. What do you got for me?
So the Hot Girl Summer Tour has made its way to Houston, Texas over the weekend, and the show was a hit. I mean, it was sold out both nights that Megan Thee Stallion was here. It was performed at the Toyota Center, and everyone was trying to guess who she was going to bring out because all the shows that she's done so far in other states, she sprung out big artists like Cardi B and Lotto, and even actually Paul Wall was for Austin. So we were kind of like, okay, well, if you brung Paul Wall out in Austin, who are you going to bring out in Houston? Well, it was not a disappointment at all. It was very H-Town, to say the least. Bun B, Slim Thug, and Lil Kiki all joined Megan Thee Stallion on stage on the first night. And then the second night, Zero and 23-year-old rapper Mona Leo, who's the up-and-coming artist, they were all on night 2. So this is a tour that's kind of promoting Megan's new album, which is self-titled Megan, and that will be dropping June 28th. So be on the lookout for that. I'm a huge Megan Thee Stallion fan, and I'm actually so sad that I didn't get to see this tour because it was my cousin's birthday. So we all went out of town as a family to celebrate that. Happy 25th birthday, Jayla. But it was great. So many of my friends went. So I got the little firsthand look on Instagram, and it looks like a complete blast. Oh my God. So only in H-Town will the H-Town hottie come in and have a whole H-Town reunion in the middle of the summer and make it even hotter. It was great. She even performed with Bun B and performed Pimp C's verse on International Players Anthem. So it was just
Oh,
completely
nice.
like epic. You know, it was a moment that we have to live for here in H-Town.
That is so cool. I'm so proud of Meg Thee Stallion. Everything she's accomplished, she has become a true ambassador for the city through music, through the scholarship funds, through all her partnerships. She always puts H-Town first, which is so awesome to see.
Hmm.
Okay, I also have a concert story. It's not Hot Girl Summer, okay, but it was
Okay.
probably hot here to say the least. And I know we're doing only in H-Town, but can we expand it to our friends in College Station? Because only in College Station can George Strait play a concert and over 110,000 people attend.
Oh
The
my
concert at
gosh.
Kyle Field, where the Aggies play football, of course, set the record for the largest ticketed attendance in concert history. Think about that,
Wow.
Carly. 110,000 people there watching a concert. Now, Strait has notched an incredible 44 number one songs on the Billboard Country Singles Chart, one of the greatest country performers out there. One, isn't that fascinating that many people went to a concert? And two, what's the biggest concert you've ever attended?
The biggest concert I've ever attended would probably have to be Bun B's Houston Takeover, which was like 75,000 people, I think. It was either that or the Jonas Brother Night at the rodeo, which was both this year. And those crowds were huge, so I can't imagine the crowd being like 40 more
Yeah,
thousand people. Like that's insane. I know that was yeah, that's amazing to me. Like
that's wild.
he's a legend though, so it makes sense.
Yeah, the Jonas Brothers, that night was the biggest concert at the rodeo, 75,600. And yeah, you're like, think about that, 110,000. That's a Texas A&M football game, but everyone's there watching one concert. That is so crazy to think about. Like, I've gone to ACL, right? And there's a lot of people there, but that's not a ticketed concert. That's a festival.
Mhm.
So everyone's just hanging out. There's a lot of space in one place. I saw U2 at NRG Stadium back in the day, and that was overwhelming. So
Mhm.
110, I can't even imagine. That's, ooh, man.
So this was the largest ticket attendance in concert history. That is like insane to me because I'm thinking, okay, maybe you're just saying like for like Kyle Field or anything like that, but no, like everywhere. This is the
Yeah.
largest one. That's yeah,
Man,
yeah.
shout out to them. And they just had 85,000 for a Mexico soccer game a couple of weeks ago as well. Kyle Field is popping all of a sudden. What's
It
happening there?
is.
We gotta get our guy David Nuno on and talk about College Station. Man, I didn't know it
Yeah.
was popping like that.
It's popping. And what they need to do now, they need to put a statue of George Strait up by the field. I
Yeah.
feel like it should be there because that you just broke a record. That's amazing.
You did. And that record's probably going to be broken when Texas goes into College Station this season for that revival of their rivalry game, as both
True.
schools are now in the SEC. So, another thing to look forward to in College Station.
Oh yeah, and I'll definitely try to be there because I love a Texas versus A&M game. Like we've been waiting for this for years. Okay.
Same here. Same here. Carly, that was a lot of fun. Enjoy the day off tomorrow.
Thank you. You too. I hope you'll have a great Juneteenth, everybody.
That was producer Carlignon Jones. All the stories are linked in our show notes. Before we go, where are you traveling to this summer? Send me your destinations via Instagram DM or with the contact info in our show notes. I appreciate it. That will do it for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new.
Throat feels so dry today.
What's up?
Hopefully- I said my throat feels so dry today. I keep drinking water and it's just not helping. Okay.
Oh, no. Excuse me. But then you talked about the, well, I'm going to get water. I am struggling too.